Essentially, what we do is provide a conduit for anything and anyone that needs something in country. And the more people we talk to, the more connections that we can foster. And through those connections, we can host various projects.
Connecting the dots, you know? You need this, and let's get you guys together.
We've been fortunate to be able to host a lot of alternative building technologies. This is an Earthship by Michael Reynolds. They came down to source a location to start building, and we were able to get them building within 30 minutes of being on the ground.
So we had local Haitians, and we had kids from a camp up the street helping build the Earthship.
The Earthship technology uses rammed earth tires and plastic bottles. And the interior is made with sugarcane byproduct and sifted rubble from the earthquake. So it's minimizing the use of imported materials and technology and trying to maximize the use of in-country waste.
I help GrassRoots with the local volunteer. All the local volunteer, they help us in the Earthship, and then they help us to build the slab for the 60-foot dome we had. They are family, like we grew up together.
We have a group called Rebuild Globally that use hydraulic presses to cut tires into sandals to be sold in country as well as in the United States. And the byproducts we're testing as like a retaining wall for materials. A Haitian architect said something that I found rather amazing, which was, well, what happens when you run out of tires? And I said, well, then we find something else to build with and there's no tires in the streets. There is two 20-foot containers with a metal truss structure, and they're sourced in country for labor. They're a rather expensive example of reused building technology, but with the amount of containers in country, a use for them is critical. And surprisingly enough, the expense of one of these is not a heck of a lot more than the plywood temporary dwellings. We're approaching, at the top end, around $8,000 per unit for a plywood structure with a lifespan of maybe 10 years, whereas a $15,000 container structure like this has a common area in the middle, which is very culturally appropriate for outdoor social congregation and outdoor cooking, which is very culturally appropriate in Haiti. When it comes to finding alternative living situations, the cultural appropriateness is very crucial, and the lifespan shows that it's worth spending the money up front rather than retrofitting later on. And cultural sensitivity is crucial, and community involvement is crucial. The local population provides 60% of the labor in the construction of temporary shelter, but only provide at best 15% of the decision making. So trying to find a way to test systems like an Earthship, which looks very different than something in country. This is only the first phase, it's not a completed Earthship. But testing something like this and then adapting it to look like a traditional house is really where it's at. We connected with an organization called Project Hope, and through that we were introduced to the Lifestraw, and we're able to distribute a little bit over 5,000 of them. And it was a situation where we needed immediate safety for individuals in camps and communities, and chose to provide a Lifestraw to a family. And in this case, we provided it as a temporary solution to water sanitation for a camp of 4,700 people. It actually has a very multi-purpose use for it. It can either be a single individual or as a family use for a few months to buy time, or working towards the family unit. I mean, there are so many facets to the way it can be used. Salut, comment est, Timou? En français? Salut, comment est?
1, 2, 3.
One other of our larger scale projects is orphanage support. The orphanage systems are very complicated in country. A lot of times there's a population of kids that actually have no parents, some have a parent, some have both parents that can't take care of the child, and so that complexity makes it so larger organizations sometimes cannot help them due to the restrictions of their funding sources or just restrictions in general. We're very thankful to have flexibility as a small independent organization. Just take one of you. Want a picture, bud? Hold it down. We provide deworming capacities and anti-scabies, antifungal, topical skin cream, and various other things through working with Haitian doctors. Orphanages tend to need everything from food to sanitation to clean water to medical assistance because of how dire the situation is. Our orphanage program has an orphanage coordinator, Emma Simpson, and she works exclusively with all Haitian individuals.
A lot of the kids you see are from the community. They come and go, so they come and play and sometimes eat, which is
The neighboring,
which is really
you know,
common
families.
in orphanages.
Yeah.
Today I asked someone and there was 13 children that are there all the time, but it goes up to as many as 40 that come in and receive food and care if their parents simply can't take care of them. So that's a really interesting part of orphanages because they're not always orphans as we know it, they're just children in need. And a lot of the support I find in Haiti comes from the surrounding neighbours, family members give what they can, but they give it to the orphanage and then it's shared amongst the children, which is also a really excellent community type atmosphere that they create. I find that amazing.
C'est nous qui pour ba yo yon chance play. Faut que nous encadrer yo. C'est eux qui avni pays nous aider yo. C'est eux même qui carrément pays nous. Nous compter sur nous. Notre niveau c'est bon, c'est mon sur capoté.